Welcome to today's video. The my beloved G-Shock MTG B1000 series in 2024, and whether you should consider this watch if you're looking at the MTG line. As you'll see, based on my arguments and conclusions, I would say that this is the better watch out of the MTG B1000, B2000 and B3000 variants. So before I get into the logic, let me get the specs out of the way. The specs on the site are a bit confusing. The case size is 55.8 by 51.7 by 14.4 millimeters. So the thickness is reported as 14.4 millimeters, but when I measure it with my calipers, it is slightly, well, yeah, I guess it is 14.4. At the edge it was measuring earlier a bit higher, but okay, exactly 14.4. So the thickness of the watch is 14.4. Well, it doesn't really have lugs, I guess, but 27.3 on the beginning of the bracelet, and then it tapers down. Well, the first link is 25.1 and tapers all the way down to 20, let's say slightly below 20 millimeters. The clasp goes back up to 22.2, and let's do a quick measurement here. 50, that should be 45.1. okay, 45, and then if we measure across here, that would be 50 millimeters. So let's call this roughly a 50 millimeter width. Now the thing is, this model came out 7 years ago approximately, and there have been two newer versions since this one. There is no functional differences, so I won't go over the specs. These watches do not have a digital screen. It's all analog, but it is perpetual calendar, it is Bluetooth controlled, tough solar, wave, does it have wave receptor? Yeah, I don't think it does. It's tough solar and Bluetooth controlled, or Bluetooth connect, and is of the generation where they have the core guard, carbon guard technology. So it is layers of protective casing of the mechanism. The handset realigns if it is knocked very, it would have to be knocked extremely hard. I've seen Nico Leonard golf use this as a golf ball, this model of a watch, and he couldn't break it. So the handset has that function where it can realign if it is knocked and misaligned for any reason. So I won't go over the functionality much. It just says world time, and then this dial here, the sub dial, shows you which function you're using. It has a world time, 12-hour sub dial, and date function. So I'll get into why I think this is still a better watch than the next models, and I will now pop up here on the screen pictures, photos of the B2000 series and B3000 series. this watch surpasses in quality and design on every single aspect of the newer ones. So if you pay attention to the detailing on the handset here, very nice, exquisite, mostly polished surfaces, but then it also has those lines. So the handset is much better, more detailed on this watch than the newer versions. The surround on the sub dials, more detailed, more contrasts on chamfers and polished and brushed surfaces. The main plate of the dial where you see the MTG and Casio, that has that rhomb shape or honeycomb shape texture to it, which is absent from the newer ones. Yeah, right there you should be able to see it. Now, most importantly, indices and how they are finished. This is very high level. My wife gifted me this. She paid almost $1,000, and every dollar is well spent. The craftsmanship on the dial alone is worth that money. The indices are, they've got the grooves, they've got chamfers, they've got polished surfaces, and every single one of them is just done to a very high standard. Again, this is absent on the MTG B1000 and MTG B3000. The other shift that I disapprove of or don't like as much as this is they've gone with the Casio, the tried to replicate the success that the company had with the Casio, and so it has that octagonal shape on the bezel, fixed bezel on all of these watches, but the B2000 series went with an octagonal shape. I think that was a bit too much, didn't look right on that watch because it is still a large watch, and they did away with that octagonal shape on the B3000 series, doing something in between that and a sphere or a round shape. I think they should have just stuck with this. The two good things that I do like about the B3000 series is the fact that it has a very easily removable bracelet where you could replace it with a rubber strap, but it would have to be proprietary. It would have to be Casio G-Shock for that specific model, so don't get too excited. And the other fact is that this is a 14.4 millimeter watch, and the B3000 series is slightly above 12 millimeters, and that for me makes a huge difference because I do like slim watches. But you don't buy G-Shocks to have slim watches or wear slim watches. So it's basically quite disappointing. Also, what I would like to point out, even the crown, you see the texturing done on this crown, and if you look at the B2000 series and 3000 series, you'll see that this is better quality and done better. So it's just a better design and better executed, this watch. Night and day difference when you look at them side by side on the dials. This is in a league of its own compared to the B2 and B3000 series. What I don't like about any of the MTGs is that Casio does not do the diamond shield type of coating that, for example, Seiko has, and even San Martin can do it now on their grade 5 titanium watches. So very disappointing that Seiko doesn't. That's because they have, even on the bracelet, as you can see, has beautiful polished edges here, chamfered and polished edges, and these links, the middle links, are also polished, as you can see. So it is a beautiful light catcher type of bracelet that gets scratched the hell up. Look at this. I haven't worn this working or anything, I just wore it casually. You touch anything, you put your wrist down, and I mean, look at the scratch marks. Intense. So when charging a retail price of above $800 or $1,000, I would say Seiko or Casio, Casio should, on their MTG line, start doing some sort of protective coating so that it doesn't get so easily scratched up. I mean, everything can get scratched, but come on, Casio. We're paying a lot of money on this. I would have liked some sort of a quick adjust function here. Hasn't really bothered me, but it's nice sometimes to be able to readjust quickly without tools. And the MTG line, starting from this, I believe, is doing this resin or plastic insert so that your skin is not touching the metal directly. And that's a great addition on top of making the bracelet a bit lighter. Now, this is not a light watch by any means. This is sized to my 7¼ inch wrist. You look at it, it's 172 grams. So let's compare it to a few other watches. Casio Pro Trek that has 10 times the functionality of this watch, but it's mostly plastic with some steel. Weighs 88 grams. Let's do some steel watches. Well, let's do a titanium Silos Swordfish, 142. So all of these are sized to my 7¼ inch wrist. 142 grams for the titanium and 62 mass, 154. This is on a steel bracelet with adjustable on the fly adjustable clasp from San Martin. The bracelet is from Tokay Lab, so I Frankensteined it, and it went quite well because the measurements are exact, 9 millimeters. This clasp came off of a Beads of Rice bracelet by San Martin, and the Ixendao Serica Homage, 116 grams. Well, probably because it has this Melanese bracelet, which is lighter. So as you can see, compared to the automatic mechanical watches, this watch is at least 30-40 grams heavier. So by no means is this a light watch, and if you want to go light and G-Shock, probably this is the lightest version on a bracelet. If you have not noticed the trend yet, I don't like buckled straps. I always prefer to have a clasp. 82 grams for that. So as I've demonstrated, unfortunately I do not have the other two models here to do side-by-side comparisons, but I've seen them, I've worn both of them, and I was disappointed. I was looking forward to what the next models of this would be, because I love this watch. And Casio disappointed on the first next model, as well as the, I guess, third one. the MTG B1000 series. They did do some gimmicky upgrades. I guess the removable bracelet, the very welcome upgrade was the shrinking to 12 millimeters, slightly over 12 millimeters. That's very welcome, but still not worth me even exchanging this watch for the other. Now, as for the pricing, prices fluctuate depending on sales and where you get them, but Amazon, if you're going for a new one, is probably the best place to get them when the prices are good, and I guess eBay for used ones. Retail prices is what I would have to go by. These start at around $600 and above, and the B2000 and 3000 series are basically in the same range, maybe $100 more, just because they're newer models. Everything else in terms of the functionality of the watch is the same. The dial much better on this, the build quality much better on this, that removable bracelet, the comparative toughness and durability to this, no questions. You cannot match this toughness where you've got a through bolt here, and so just one benefit for me, a relevant benefit and important one, would only be the thickness. The rest, design, the dial design, the case design, everything, and even the bracelet design, I prefer on this one. So do not overlook it. It is a gem, and used ones you can get for around $350, $400 even. So by all means, this is well recommended by me. I've had the watch for 6 years now, and I have zero complaints with it. Casio, please give us something decent on the next iteration, MTG B4000. I'm still a big fan of the G-Shock series. I'm not trashing them or anything, just saying that it's disappointing. It's like the Godfather series, where the first episode, the first movie is better than the next two. So that'll be it for my video today. Thank you and have a good one. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. That is important for more content to keep coming. Thank you.